Sometimes when I watch classic television late at night, I'm reminded how bold storytelling once felt. Shows didn't rush to explain everything. They trusted the viewer to think. That's exactly what I learned from watching The Twilight Zone. 1. Censorship accidentally created The Twilight Zone. Before creating The Twilight Zone, Rod Serling was already a respected television writer. His early dramas often explored serious issues like war, prejudice, and social injustice. However, in the 1950s, television sponsors and networks frequently demanded changes whenever a script felt too controversial. One script inspired by the real-life tragedy involving Emmett Till was heavily altered by network pressure. The social message was stripped away until the story barely resembled the original idea. That experience pushed Serling to try something clever. Instead of confronting issues directly, he began setting his stories in science fiction worlds filled with aliens, strange technology, and supernatural twists. Under the surface, those episodes still explored fear, racism, and Cold War anxiety. Ironically, the censorship meant to silence serious storytelling helped create one of television's smartest shows. 2. The script CBS nearly ignored. The origins of the series trace back to a script called The Time Element. Written by Rod Serling in 1957, the story followed a man who believed he was traveling back in time to Honolulu just before the attack on Pearl Harbor. CBS executives initially dismissed the script, believing audiences would find it confusing or too unusual for television. Fortunately, producer Desi Arnaz saw potential in the story and aired it as part of the anthology program Westinghouse Desilu Playhouse in 1958. Viewers responded immediately. Thousands of letters flooded the network praising the episode's eerie twist and emotional impact. That overwhelming reaction convinced CBS executives to approve Serling's new series. Without that forgotten script, The Twilight Zone might never have existed. 3. The narrator who didn't want the job. When the show was first developed, Serling never intended to appear on screen. The producers even considered legendary actor Orson Welles as the narrator. However, the production budget couldn't support Welles' salary. As deadlines approached, Serling reluctantly stepped in to record the narration himself. His calm delivery, direct eye contact, and thoughtful tone quickly became one of the show's most recognizable elements. What began as a last-minute solution turned into a defining feature of the entire series. 4. The famous theme was not the original. Most viewers immediately recognized the eerie guitar notes associated with The Twilight Zone. But that famous sound wasn't part of the first season. Originally, composer Bernard Herrmann created a more orchestral score for the show. Beginning in Season 2, however, producers switched to a different musical cue written by French composer Marius Constant. The producers actually combined two short experimental pieces to create the final theme. Those unusual notes eventually became one of the most recognizable sounds in television history. 5. Future stars appeared before they were famous. One of the most fascinating things about The Twilight Zone is how many future stars appeared early in their careers. Actors like William Shatner, Robert Redford, Burt Reynolds, and Burgess Meredith all delivered memorable performances long before becoming major Hollywood names. For many actors, appearing on the show meant performing intense emotional scenes or unusual science fiction situations. In many ways, the series became a proving ground where talented performers showed just how much range they had. Even decades later, these early performances remain some of the most memorable moments in classic television history.